Hi guys! So we are going to be starting with our video today talking about product and quotient of complex numbers. So fancy words for multiplication and division of complex numbers. So our rules for these are that if we have, remember z typically represents complex numbers. So our first z value, we have r sub 1 times cosine of theta 1 plus I sine of theta 2. Remember that this is our trig form of complex numbers. And then for z2, we have the same form, it's just a different radius and a different angle. So when we are multiplying complex numbers together in trig form, what we do is we multiply the radii together, and then we add the angles. So I remember learning this, and remember we can call the radius the modulus. So moduli multiply and angle add. So that might help you a little bit with our M, A, and A. And then if we have division here, it's the same concept. We just divide our radii, or our moduli, and then we subtract our angles instead. So working through an example of this, we have two complex numbers being multiplied. So this right here is our z sub 1, and this right here is our z sub 2. So if we want to multiply z sub 1 times z sub 2, that would be equal to, following our rule up here, we take our radii and we multiply them. So our moduli multiply, so that's root 3 and 1/3. So we take root 3, being super fancy on these colors today, going the extra mile, times 1/3, and then we multiply that whole thing. We take the cosine of our angles, and remember our angles add. So we would have, this is our first angle, so 3 pi over 4 plus our second angle is, oh my goodness, hello, pi over 6 plus I sine of 3 pi over 4 plus pi over 6. And that's it. So working through this, we can combine what we can. So we just have root 3 over 3 times cosine of, and then doing this addition here, I'm going to change these so that the denominator is 12. So we have to multiply this one top and bottom by 3. So we have 12 in the denominator, and then we will have 9 pi in the numerator. And then multiply top and bottom here by 2. So 12 in the denominator and 2 pi in the numerator. And then same thing here, our I stays. Sine of, multiply by 3, 12, and then 9 pi in the numerator, plus 2 pi over 12. And then simplifying down a little bit more, we have root 3 over 3 times cosine of 9 pi plus 2 pi is going to be 11 pi over 12, plus I sine of 11 pi over 12. And that is it for multiplication. So that's your final answer. Moving on to division here. All right. So our top number is our z1. This is z2. So this is r1, r2. This is theta 1. This is theta 2. So, working through this, z1 over z2 is equal to we divide the radii, and then multiplying in here, we would have cosine of 220 minus 115 plus I sine of 220 minus 115. So that 5/2 stays the same, and now we have cosine of, would that be 105 plus I times sine of 105. So that is a multiplication and division of complex numbers. The next video will go over de Moivre, I'm still not sure how to pronounce that theorem, which basically takes this idea and expands upon it a little bit more.